So if we go back to like in the month of August, a while back when we had the show with on Discover Sasquatch, Chris Reinhardt's channel, we had discussed that we were going to do a quantum experiment by getting other people involved, and it was going to be based upon John Stewart's, experiment. That, oh, by the way, there's been a Nobel Prize awarded now for that type of work that three scientists had done over the course of maybe 30 or 40 years. You should go research it. Anyway, well, that's very interesting. But anyway, so getting back to the experiment. So we were going to go, Beata and I were going to go to Yellowstone, and we were going to go to the Great Wild West, and I was thinking it was an opportune time to do this experiment. So we talked about it briefly, and Chris said, well, you know what? I'm doing work with, the tuning forks, and I'll just get people to think about the tones and frequency and stuff like that, and and I said, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I don't know, I'll think of something. So I thought about something in the wilderness, and I said, well, when I'm out and about on the trail, what could possibly happen? Hey, an owl, that's what I was thinking, an owl. I've always said the owl is the watchman, of the woods, and that's kind of true, by the way. So I said, okay, owl. So we told everybody on the show, hey, think this, and let's just try to get this quantum thing going on. And the reasoning behind it is that it's based upon quantum thinking, quantum entanglement, is that with enough brain power involved, thinking on particular subjects might yield some expected result that could be leaning in that direction that we expect. Kind of, sort of. All right, so Beata and I fly out to Yellowstone, and we go along the trails, and I'm going on Facebook every now and then. I'm just saying, okay, think owl, but we had everywhere we were going, there was no owls. No, not even a sound of an owl, and we had went way off on these trails, going back and having our own private little, what's these pools? Geyser pools, right? We went out to a place called the Imperial Geyser, and we had our own private geyser, just us and another guy was out there, and we had some amazing, interesting things going on out there. But in a nutshell, nothing was happening with this owl at all. Nothing, the whole entire trip. Now, what I will point out and I'll tell you is that I haven't mentioned this, but on Skinwalker Ranch, now we kept this totally oblivious to everybody that was involved in the experiment. On Skinwalker Ranch, they were also doing a quantum experiment with their viewers. They have an insider site that you can join up, and this is what I'm specifically referring to, and you can be involved in the research that they do at the ranch. So I'm a part of that, and so I knew they were doing something simultaneously when we were going to Yellowstone. I mean, it timed it out just right. While we were flying to Yellowstone, their quantum experiment was going on at the same time. Now, what Eric and Travis were proposing to do was, on the ranch, they were going to take Homestead 2, and they were going to take a radiation meter, and they were going to mount it to the wall or put it inside Homestead 2 for a 24-hour period, and they wanted people to think of something to see if there would be any kind of results that could come around it. So Travis just pulled off the top of his head. He goes, well, while we're doing this, in his Alabama twang, while we're doing all this stuff, the radiation's constantly going on, so we got to just pick something kind of just totally random that doesn't mean anything. Okay, 33. He goes, everybody think 33. Think think whatever you want with 33. Whether it's going to be millisieverts or counts per minute or whatever, it's your choice. It's totally a random experiment. So for 24-hour period, that's what we're going to do. So the fan base all started to go and think on 33. And that's where I got the whole idea from on this quantum experiment, because we wanted to run a simultaneous experiment at the same time with the two test subjects, the two test pools, as you would say, being totally oblivious to each other. Now, the interesting thing that happened was the Skinwalker Ranch results. They released the results in a video a few weeks later, and they were saying that out of their history datagram, when they looked at the history of the radiation in the homestead, that every point along the curve was hit except for 33. 33 was not touched, and it was nothing touched with 33 at all. So they essentially had an experiment that they were probably thinking that there would be a high spike on 33, is probably what they were thinking. But it didn't happen. Nothing happened on 33. Exactly the same thing that happened on our experiment, my experiment with the owls. Nothing happened with the owls at all whatsoever, except everything that sort of kind of happened in relation to an owl happened to Chris Reinhardt. And that's when I don't know if he showed a photo or anything, but he had like 3 freaking like rip scratches on the inside of his arm. I don't know if you can see that, but on the inside of his arm, like 3 scratches. And he showed me. I said, where is that on your arm? He goes, that's on the inside by my elbow. I'm like, oh, that's some tender stuff going on. You would have definitely known. He said, I didn't even know. He said, I didn't even know what happened. I just saw it. And Maria was the one who said, what happened to you? So that got him thinking, and I got to thinking. I looked at the scratch. I said, dude, that looks like a talon. It looks like a talon scratch. And so I immediately Googled the talon of an owl and the talon of an eagle and stuff like that. So like 3 birds, hawk, eagle, owls, like that. And the owl talon looked very close to what his scratches were. It was really bizarre and kind of freaky amazing. So I said, dude, man, that looks freakishly close to the owl. And he said, oh my God, I have to agree with you on that. It does kind of sort of look like that. And then if you watched his podcast, he had a host of weird things that was going on. The children in his household started saying that they were seeing like monsters in their home and stuff like that. And and when your kids tell you these things, a lot of us, we immediately dismiss it as being imagination, but it was leading to other things. And then he sent me a photo of what his I believe it was his daughter-in-law sent a photo. He goes, look what she just sends me out of the clear blue sky. She sends me this photo of this alien-looking thing, and that apparently he goes, she's just sent me this photo of this alien-looking thing. I said, I don't know, man. I said, should I even keep it on my phone or what? I don't want to be like, if there's really something going on with this, I don't want to be entangled with that thing. It was a creepy-looking Schmeeble-looking thing. Not looking like Schmeeble, but it was kind of similar like that. That's kind of how it looked. So I didn't even keep a picture of that guy on my phone at all. I didn't want nothing to do with that, because he was the one getting the weird stuff happening completely. And so he went on the podcast and explained all that, but you didn't hear my side of it, and that's what I'm doing right now. So we're doing more into running these types of experiments to where a collective random mass of people can join in on some of these things, and it is very, very interesting what we can find out with this. All right, so we've been doing a lot of work when it comes to radio frequency, and I think it seems to be gaining some traction. I'm seeing more and more people out there with these tri-field meters, and they're doing work with it, and that's great. I really do think there is something going on. Our last outing in the swamp showed that we were getting knock sounds that were corresponding to the meter reading. And I thought that was amazing, and it's still going on. And I totally do not touch my phone at all. And I have a new iPhone. It's not the same iPhone that I had back in a year and a half ago when I was out there with Reinhardt. So totally different phone, and we're still getting some of the same type of stuff. But what I do, I see more people using the meters. But what I would caution the people is that when you are using the meters out there, try to remember to not touch and handle phones anywhere near your meter readings when you're out there in the field. Don't do any filmings or anything with your phone. Don't even touch your phone, because if you touch your phone's going to want to do things, and it will more than likely emit radio frequency, and your results could be skewed, okay, or totally inaccurate. So I would caution people to remember this when they're going out in the field and doing this. I do think there is some type of potential communication going on with whatever these things, I'm going to still call them things, whatever these things are in the wilderness areas. And I think your electronic device, which your telephone, seems to be part of this. Whether the phone, whether they sense that there's some kind of electronic device that you have on your person, and whether they interact with it or not. The speculation is that the phone is being interfered with, interacted with, and then the phone reacts. The phone will react of some sort, and I think the phone is also contributing to these crazy radio frequency readings that we hear on this. But the key thing to remember is, are there external things going on simultaneously during the meter readings? It isn't good enough just to have the meter spiking. It's what's going on around you. You have to remember to collect the evidence, the data that's going on around you. Was there movement going on around you? Was you hearing knocks? Was things being slammed? Those are the type of encounters that I would tell people to pay attention to when they're using their phones. Beata and I have noticed, and I'll bring this up, but we have noticed we're having things just suddenly disappear in our own home. And I can see Beata's laughing on that already. But oddly enough, for no reasons, things just come up missing in our house. Now, some of the things that came up missing was, my hat that I have had since 2013 when I started the Trail to Bigfoot, and before that it was even a Trail to Bigfoot. I had my black, my black hat that everybody's seen me in all my videos. It's missing. That black hat is missing. Now, do you think for a moment that I would lose my black hat? I'm not saying it's not possible, but I've kept up with that hat for years, and I hang it in my bedroom, and it goes up over the TV on a rack. It just hangs up there. It's missing. We haven't found it. So we immediately assumed that the dog got a hold of it, Indy got a hold of it, and we were thinking, well, it's buried in the yard somewhere. She drug it off. But I thought long and hard on it. The last time I saw the hat was when we were doing something in the swamp with my truck. And normally when I get back from the swamp, it's hot, of course. I take the hat off, and then I just lay it down in the console area normally. And I swear, I think that is the last place I saw this hat. The hat's been missing for months. It's gone. I don't know where it is. We've had things that we just do, like crazy. We were eating something yesterday. I took I was going to use some soy sauce. I took the cap off, laid the cap down, used the soy sauce, and went to go put when I was done my meal, went to go look for the cap, to put the cap back on. The cap's missing. And you might think that's trivial or mundane, but I'm paying attention to this. And I do not know why these things are just going missing. And we have noticed other things have gone missing, but we'll keep that in our mind here. Some of the things I want to mention before I get back to the video, in the rest of the video, is Skinwalker Ranch guys reported that a cow was down. And the only reason why I'm mentioning the cow, because you're like, well, what's Skinwalker Ranch got anything to do with our work and our research? there's a lot of things that's going on with these other high strangeness areas, and that ranch is an area that we see also that's going on like parallel. I see the commonalities of it for sure. And they had a cow go down. Long story short, no vet in the area would come in and do and I think it's I think it's called a necropsy, I think is what it's called, but you know what they do, like the autopsy on the cow, cause of death. No vet would go near the ranch. They said what they call within 50 miles, no vet came. They got a hold of Pete Kelsey, and he's the Lidar scanner guy. They brought in the Lidar scanner guy because, they were thinking, what's going on? To a nutshell, there's more than likely some kind of evidence pointing to some type of portal in that area. So I know that's probably what they were scanning for. But anyway, he brings in the Lidar scanner. He scans the area and everything like that. Their data comes back, and they share the data this week, and the Lidar shoots millions of laser beams and makes like these little polka dots all over the landscape everywhere. It's shooting these laser beams, right? Just getting data. When they looked at the data, the cow was missing. There was no cow on the ground. The carcass was sitting there rotting, and no data. The laser apparently went through where the cow was at and was picking up data points on the ground, but no cow. So that was very unique and odd and strange. And they also did a local handheld scan. So the local handheld scanner picked it up, but not the drone that was flying around. And I think that's interesting. All right, so getting back to the remaining part of the video. We're trying to get back out and doing the work again. It seems like all the reasons that we kind of really throttled back over the last 2 years, and I really apologize for that. It seems like we're finally getting back to having an opportunity to maybe get back out there and be more consistent with work out in the field. And the new guy that you're seeing in the videos is my sister's husband, and his name is Ty. So, it's very encouraging that Ty's shown interest and wants to go out. Although, he didn't. I don't know why my sister did this, but I guess she was thinking we were going to go riding around in the swamp, not walking in the swamp. So he shows up just with hiking shoes on. In the video, it's kind of pretty funny in the end of the video, and I would tell people to, maybe get to the fridge part, and then watch some of our comments. It gets kind of funny in the end. Taking, you heard the saying, take a knife. Don't bring a knife to a gunfight, but don't bring your tennis shoes to the swamp either, because you're going to end up with soaking wet, soggy feet. And we thought that was just funny. It was ragging them on that. But I need another guy on the team, and Ty seems like he has shown interest. So what I would tell everybody out there that is following our channel for some time, please encourage Ty to continue on the trail, give it a fair chance, and don't give up so easily, because it is hard work. But my sister said he does want to return and go back out. So you guys encourage Ty to keep hanging in there and keep slugging it out, and stick with him on that. Maybe he'll become more of a permanent team member, and it'll help with a lot of the work, because I just don't like being out there, without enough people, because there are things that you can get hurt out there. So some of the upcoming things that we're going to be doing shortly, I will say that California is still on my plans to do, although I don't know if I'll be able to squeeze in California in 2023. But I have told Beata that I am going to California in 2024, come heck or high water, and hopefully by then Reinhardt's eye will be more solid. Let's pray for Chris Reinhardt not to get a detached retina again, because I mean, how many detached retinas can you get, or surgeries can you get before you get like permanent damage in your eye? So everybody, give him your thoughts and your prayer and support for healing up, because I want to drag him along, and we want to go to a particular place in California in the Sierras on a mountain, and we're just going to say the heck with it. I already have a small team of guys that I've spoken with, because we were thinking about doing it this year. This didn't pan out, so we might delay it a little bit. But oh man, this is an area that I want to go to. It's down the road project, and very, we're wanting to see the area is if it's still high strangeness. So, all right. So I've rambled on long enough, and that's pretty much. And we're going to go to Utah. We're going to go to Utah this year, so there'll be some more stuff going on with Utah, but I won't say a whole lot more about that. It won't necessarily be, it won't necessarily be a Bigfoot outing or anything like that.
It's next year.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking that, it will be 2023 when we're going to go to Utah. So, yep, so that's on the list. And like I said, enough rambling on. I want to thank every person out there for sticking with us. I'm really, as I said, really sorry that, we just fell off the bandwagon completely for the last 2 years. And we're trying to pick this back up and get back to business. And also, we might head to this conference coming up here next year in Florida. We haven't all decided yet whether we want to go there or not. We Trail Bigfoot team might show up to go there as well. And if we go, I'll put that out. If we see people there, shake our hand, whatever. No, it won't be a speaking type thing. I didn't inquire about any kind of a speaking engagement or anything like that. We would just be there totally as anybody else, just as an observer, and and just listen to everybody else, and kind of interested in seeing David Paulides, and would love to get 5 minutes of time with him and sit down with him, because it kind of ties in a little bit here. Okay, so enough of me rambling. Thank you for your time and all your support, and thank you for watching the Trail Bigfoot channel. Fallen branches right here. Tree snap right here. Fallen branches right here. That we've got a storm. Shut up. Pretty far left. Drop it over. That tree needs to be completely up.
The first hurricane came through a couple of years ago.
The one in 2017 ripped it down.
That was when we discovered the beach. Looked like it was Matthew or something. But
Yeah, probably Matthew.
No, it was that one that came through in 2017.
it was the one from going to Georgia.
Yep.
We had to cancel and
That's the
reschedule.
one that about tore up my roof.
I think that was Matthew.
I can't remember the name. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
because it kept me from going up north.
Michael was the one that came in out and that tore up my. Burgers will taste.
Not something in it.
Gotta go one of these days.
Hopefully, if there's something in it, it's gone by now. But we're replacing it.
You can either go the wide way or you can go the narrow way. The narrow way is pretty easy too. The wide way is a little longer.
Across the creek right here?
I think if you just go right here by the side of the creek, it'll be fine. There's nothing in there. Things happen to us over the years out here. Crazy. It's gonna be a little bit of tucking and ducking and bobbing and weaving a little bit. We'll jump and skirt around. We got to go on the opposite side. Watch your eyes. What? Absolutely. That's one good thing I got, is a very good sense of bearing and direction. I don't normally ever get disoriented. There's a teacup on top. Well, I have to look at the video to see if we left it there.
I don't think we left a teacup.
Chris Reinhardt left a stone up there. Okay, I'm gonna check, see if it's still there.
I think it's been coffee.
The stone is still here. That's black obsidian.
Really?
I think it's what he left.
Oh, okay.
Golf ball is still here. Look at that. That's probably been out here 6, 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
My time. I don't know if Betty was here or not. I think it was me, Beata, and Mark. We sat there and listened to that thing tap at us. That fridge. It started tapping at us.
I wasn't here. It was ticking. Was it like?
Irish setter. I didn't know that Irish setter made snake boots.
There you go.
That's what he has.
And she.
That's the best ones, like tennis shoes.
Yeah, Irish
had
setters.
what
I
you-
used to have a
I
pair of
had a
Irish
pair
setters.
like Betty,
My feet are still dry.
and they're so heavy.
They're very heavy.
And then I told Chris years ago for Christmas I wanted.
Yeah, my feet are still dry. You don't have to get Gore-Tex. Don't get
All right.
Gore-Tex.
Okay. Pretty quiet.
Nada.
I did one time here. And it started tapping from the ground.
Yeah, the fridge just started
In
tapping
unison
back.
with my.
Yeah, it was like mimicking her.
Wow.
Kind of wild.
And Geiger's quiet.
Just don't be playing none of that crazy music, all right?
I got it here with me if you want me to.
No. I will.
Do you want me to open the portal?
No, I don't want you to do any of that.
The rabbi from Skinwalker Ranch. Do you want me to play that again?
I don't know.
Chris was told that's probably what caused it.
Mm-mm.
So, anyways, okay, let's get going.
Keep going.
Get going.
Keep going.
Okay, so the experiment is everybody's going to do,
We're
we
thinking
call
of
it
the same
quantum,
thing.
right? We call it quantum. Everybody's going to project their thoughts of, we want to hear a knock, okay? All right, so we'll go be still for about 30 seconds and just project your thoughts. And then we'll leave the camera running. Betty's got this doubtful look in her face. All right, ready, set, 30 seconds, go. Well, I think that's been about 30 seconds, and all I heard was raindrops.
You want to know what I was wishing for?
Hamburger? No. A grunt? Oh. The grunt will probably be at your house, waiting for you.
Hey, something knocked over my light in my front yard the other night. It was in the ground.
In the ground?
It's in the ground.
Stuck in the ground.
Stuck in the
Little
ground on
spike
my
thing.
fall display.
Well, I didn't know this.
Next morning I went out there. That sucker was knocked over out of the ground up on its belly.
Hold on.
It's on the outside of our fence, our gate.
No.
I think somebody
You,
drove
did you
over.
hear that just now? Did you hear that just now?
No, I was talking, sorry.
Did you hear
I
it?
thought I heard something.
Yeah, it was when we were talking and it was back that
It
way.
always happens when we talk.
So tell me what happened. I didn't hear about what
Okay, I have
happened.
a fall display with my big pumpkin that we got from Georgia. And I put a big, huge spotlight to shine up solar. And it's got a stake. And I stuck it into the ground really deep so it wouldn't topple over with any kind of wind that we might get through the night. Next morning, I went to rinse off my car, and I looked, and I said, oh my God, my light is over. So I went over to my spotlight, and it literally looked like it was ripped out of the ground and laid on its side. And I went inside, and I told him, I said, something knocked over my spotlight.
Knocked my light over.
He said, huh? I said, something like pulled it up and laid it on its side. I said, the hole was still there where I stuck it in.
You have no explanation?
No
Nobody
explanation.
would have done that?
No. I went out there during like
Any weird stuff been happening at your house lately?
the dogs, Trina and Garrett, they are camping out at our house in a big RV because they're having a house built. So they sleep in the camper. And last week, Cooper is their, we think, a mixed terrier, Labrador type dog, just started whining. Just whining and whining and whining. So Garrett got up and let him out. And then he went straight towards the back of the barn and was just whining and whining and whining. So Garrett called him back in. He thought he had to use the bathroom, but he didn't even bother. Izzy wouldn't even go out. She stood at the door of the camper, just would not go out. So he called Cooper back in, and he just kept whining and whining and whining. Trina got up and let him out. Izzy and Cooper went out. They weren't barking, but they went towards the rear of our pole barn. So she called them back in. Neither one of them went to use the bathroom. She called him back in, and Cooper was just very unsettled. He kept pacing the floor, and he wept right in the middle of the camper, the RV. He's never done that, Trina said. And she said finally...
So he didn't use the bathroom outside?
No.
He did it inside?
He did it inside. And so finally, Trina said, well, I'm just going to let him in our bed, because normally they don't let them in the bed because they stay outside. So he literally jumped in the bed. Izzy jumped on the couch, went under a blanket. Cooper jumped in their bed and just burrowed himself under their blanket. And that's where he laid the rest of the night. So both of them, and Garrett don't spook easy at all, thought that was really strange behavior out of the dogs because they didn't never use the bathroom outside. They just kept running back to the same spot whining. Weren't barking at the cows, you know, they were just whining. And that was it. I thought it was odd.
Yeah, so we don't know. We don't
No, because, you know,
nothing slapped on the
slapped
trailer
the
or
barn,
anything
nothing
like that.
hit the side of the RV, you know, nothing like that.
But they've had slaps on their trailer before. I know you
Yes,
told me
Trina
that, yeah.
has been...
They've had slaps.
Yes, like something hit the side of the RV. I happened to walk through the living room and I said, what's wrong? He said, Trina says she knows something's outside in the barn. I said, what is it? He said, I don't know, but I'm fixing to find out. So he got his scope with a light on it and was walking out there spotlighting areas, but we didn't see anything. Nothing. No cows. Nothing out there to indicate that a cow might have stepped on something out there in the pasture, but there was nothing.
We haven't really been having anything happen in our house, I don't think.
Well, don't jinx it.
I want...
Don't jinx it.
Well, Logan saw
No,
something.
it's not like I'm looking for. I'm just making a report. But
Logan saw something when he stayed at our house in Dog Sit.
Shadow guy?
I did not want to... I did not ask.
It's not a good place to be talking about
I
those
did
things.
not want to ask. So
All right.
I ran it off with my Bible, so...
Yeah.
Let's head on out.
Okay. It seems like it has gone pretty quiet, and I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna leave if they don't make a knock or something. So
We're leaving. Bye. Don't talk to 'em.
I ain't gonna talk to them. Forget it. So after we had that, everybody was thinking about making a knock and stuff like that. Nothing happened during the quietness, but we shifted and pivoted and started talking, and Ty shifted, and I thought I heard something, and he thought he heard something that was back that way. A deeper, like, knock pop sound. Okay, so we're gonna be heading back out of here.
I couldn't hold it.
Bites you on the coochie coo. That ain't good.
Y'all are whining about those mosquitoes.
Yeah, biting you on the
Ooh,
coochie coo.
brave soul.
What?
Stomping through the water first.
I just want to get out of here.
We're tired.
This is the worst part. Okay. I mean, why are we not walking over there?
We can. We can.
Or should we be walking?
We should keep walking over there.
I'll walk right through the middle of it, but I agree. If they're wet, they're wet.
They got swamp feet again. show us your foot. We broke him in. He's got
I don't know why my sister let her husband come out here with inadequate foot gear. I just shook my head and said, now you know good well how wet it can be out here.
But look at this. That's
I wasn't thinking.
No, let me correct myself.
I wasn't
I
thinking.
think my brother was going to take us knee deep wading in water.
She never calls him by my name. It's always
Chris.
my brother.
Oh,
Chris.
might have get.
I
I don't have
I'm going
to.
to see some sibling tweaking a little bit right now.
No, what you don't see is how much I love Chris.
Oh God, I can feel the love.
I feel opposite.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Do it.
You want to bite the bullet just for that.
There's a high road path right here. You want to take the high road path? Y'all can. I'll walk the lead point. Yeah. Well, I got to run the snakes off, so I got a snake. I got snake loose. Whoa, it's wet over here too.
Is that the trail? Go to the left.
But it gets deep over there, like three feet deep.
The right side more.
But that's okay. I'll get you through here because I'm a good guide. I'll get you through here. Your feet's only going to get a little wet.
Are you still videoing?
Of course. Not a lot of wet.
The leader of this group should have called me last night and said, hey,
Make sure Ty brings adequate foot gear. I thought that was one of them implied tasks.
Okay. Is that the trail?
Yes. That's the problem with getting off trail.
What if that's those?
That's the problem with getting off trail. You can get confused about where the trail is. I'm surrounded by water, so we might as well just brave it. Oh boy, it's deep right here.
Yeah, you can go in that.
Hold on. Okay, we got it. It's still high ground. It's still high ground. Till now. Now it's low ground. Oh, it's very high ground now. Okay, I'm through it. Whoa, air conditioning for my feet.
Ay, ay, ay. Oh my God. I feel like I'm walking with.
Oh, I tell you, we've been out of the bush too long. We have amateurs with us.
Freaking soaked. I don't want to go eat nowhere like this. Just saying.
I wouldn't care what somebody
Shit.
thought about
I
me.
ain't going up. My freaking legs are soaked.
You've never been to this place yet.
Well,
you can be fully swimming. You
If
can be
I'd have had
They'll
some
welcome-
waterproof boots, I would be okay.
They'll welcome you in this place
They
being
don't care.
Barefooted.
Yeah. Let's get it.
You can go in there and barefooted.
Barefooted. I can do like we used to do in high school. Go ahead. Walk Chris in. He can take off his boots. And I'll bring him back out.
Okay. I told him there'd be a little bit of water out here.